Honorable Vice Chancellor and Girish, Dr. Girish Kasaraliji has kept the, uh, the issue, he kept the base very strong so that my job is more easier to explain the complex issues. He has already given a disclaimer that experiencing is easy, but explaining is difficult. So I try to take that also as a small excuse. I just want to give you a little background and also slightly also in the introduction in the end. I would like to also take you to some of the questions that we need to ask at this moment of time. Um, Actually, this like my students, when we start every semester the South Indian cinema with different students from different universities, different departments, they join this CBCS course. So I start with one statement, that is South Indian cinema is more than a lungi dance. So because everybody is in the north, they are obsessed with the lungi dance and Nagarjuna moving his leg, and then the sumos are hitting the current poles. That is what the idea of South Indian cinema for them through 24 hours GE and other television. So I start with this and take them to most important contributions which they don't telecast and the dubbed televisions also. So when I started teaching, we teach cine politics, we teach fans and fan clubs, we teach the contributions in various fields. So over the years, what is the outcome of the syllabus, which is teaching to diverse students, is that whether it is Tamil, Telugu, or Malayalam cinema, even in fact Hindi also, the pertinent theme which is not visible when you actually experience the film, but when you read the film, you feel that at every topic, without touching caste, you cannot understand the real sense of those images and those intersectionalities. So whether it is fans or whether it is audience reception, whether it is mediating through different themes. So caste is an important thing that is interwoven with all these imagery, which is produced, distributed, redistributed in different channels. So I would like to start with a point, that a question actually. There is a race, we have a caste, there is a race in US and other parts of the world. So they, like Girish Kasaraliji sir talked about Griffith. So Griffith made a film in 1950, Birth of a Nation. So Birth of a Nation, I don't disagree with him for the film, its craft and everything. But when I look at from the race lens, it has a problem. Like Sir has found a problem with Sujata. So because it's all about white man's history and contribution in the nation building. So after 10 years, after 5 years, there is a counter film has come, that is Within Our Gates. So this Within Our Gates is a counter film about how blacks are also part of the building the nation. So whose contribution made the great so-called America is actually a white man telling white man stories. Likewise, we have very interesting artwork, a painting that is by Manet. What is there in the painting is a white mistress is lying on the bed and a black servant is serving. The same photographs later on many artists counter-produced. What black maid is lying on the bed, white servant is there. So in a way, like Dhanarjaman has come up with a very interesting review of that. So the point is that in all these histories, it is very difficult to retell the stories. It is important for us to see producing counter arguments. Like you see, we have read the one of the remarkable work by G. Kalyan Rao says Sankrani in Untouchable Spring. He said that so much to dig, so much to fill. So avail ఎంత ఉంది పూర్తి చేస్తుంది ఎంత ఉంది. So these histories are ever need to be explored. So in the same way, why I told this race point of view is that we don't have such kind of a moment. By 1980s, the black filmmakers, they could be able to contest with the white filmmakers, white film dominated industry. Parallelly, they could be able to challenge. Then you have a series of films which are something like Blade Runner, Maze, and a lot of number of films which are there, and filmmakers, producers. It's not just only one film craft. In all other aspects, we have people in like Kanye West and all in different fields. But such kind of a moment is not there in India so far. So, I would like to also mention Frank Jostin, Vimal Roy. 1925, they made a film on Buddha, that is Light of Asia. Light of Asia. That's a very interesting film at that point of time when we are working about, because a lot of history is written in Indian cinema. There is all about the Krishna, all about the Harishchandra and all these things, but there are efforts which have been made in this direction also. And later on, 1936, he made Achut Kanya, which is 1938 in Telugu. Malapilla is coming. So one of the interesting things is that Chalam wrote the story, but still somehow maybe because of the film medium and market, there are some issues in the way the story is woven. So in this we have there is one important. I'll go to the exact topic, but one important point is that there is nothing called Indian cinema as such. So how the many scholars who writes about Indian cinema, they come to Bombay, they return from there. They never look beyond that. Something like we have Gods and Goddesses by Rachel Dyer. We have Paul Wellman wrote Encyclopedia in Cinema. So they don't look much beyond more interesting films that are made in the South. So here the Indian cinema is perceived as Hindi cinema, which is not the correct thing. So here my topic is the how, of course, I have more focus on the Dalit women in Telugu cinema. So I'm not talking about beyond 2000. I'm talking about what has been done, what kind of films have come, and over a period of time, kind of tracing the trajectory of the films. And in that, I would like to actually look at some of these films, around some 15 films, and of course I have more list of it. I broadly, for the purpose, I don't believe in genre theory. Like genre theory distracts understanding of Indian cinema or Telugu cinema as specifically. This is my belief, and also largely film studies is driven by the Marxist or neo-Marxist framework, which also I was kept trying to see. Is there anything that we can look at not from the class? Apart from the class, there is a caste angle to it, and how do we look at it? Whom do we consult it actually? So we have variety of people, including the Ambedkar, and we have Sukhdev Thorat, Gail Lombard. There are a number of people who have presented very interesting perspectives to understand. And what I did over a period of time is that the number of films and ideologies, one set of films which are always trying to do give the Dalit themes in the form of a reform. What do you call a classic films? Srutirayelu, Ananda Bhairavi. These are classic films. We name it classic because we attach it to the culture. But in the guise of culture, are we justifying a reform of Dalits in their own voice is a questionable thing. And another point is that where I think a wonderful article, very very powerful article. I was talking to his students. Madhbabu Garu has written on the left-oriented or Marxist movies which are there, and I've also talked about some of the ideologically driven. Are they doing any justice to this the issue of caste, especially Dalits? And there are a number of movies with the feudal background, and always a savior will always be there. I'll say Ramana Chaudhary or some Reddy or some Raju. They'll always be there to help you out and give you a shelter in the temple or maybe save you from the bad guys. But the point is that how far is actually good able to succeed. And also there are a number of family-oriented movies. They are family-oriented. What some of our JNU scholars, Veera Bhaskar says, melodramatic films. These melodramatic films, how far they are able to succeed in that, and some of them categorized that way. And here, I would like to also bring your notice to one of the small anecdote which I am still writing this paper. What Ambedkar and Gandhi's views on cinema. So Gandhi is never liked cinema, same as Ambedkar. They did not like cinema. They maybe watched very less, but they believe in journalism, communicating to the print. So Gandhi has some 6 newspapers, Ambedkar has some 4 newspapers, Muk Naik, Bharkar Bharat, and all these things. And Gandhi has some 6 newspapers circulating around the world. But the point is that what I found a reference. There's an article called "The Rich Hindustan" in 1942. A Film India magazine. You must look at it. Look at a website called mediahistory.org, where you will find the 1930s onwards. There are film guides from the Bombay. They are scanned and kept online. So what he says that when he's asked, Ambedkar, can we use film for the upliftment of the society and for the downtrodden people? So what Ambedkar said that he was very much critical about showing mythological films. There's a lot of criticism on mythological films, but in Telugu and Tamil we are good at it actually. They are the big runs. Even Bahubali is also a return of the mythological in a way. So he was very critical about it. He is also upset about this, how gods, magical, lot of superstitions have been populated, and he talks about there's a film called there is a educational films about how a newborn baby is given delivery and all these talks about. Very interesting anecdote that is there. But he agrees that the films, if there are any films made on the themes, then it can be served for the benefit of the society. That what Ambedkar very interestingly quoted actually. I'm not quoting exactly, I have just downgraded some of the points keeping the current situation in mind. So Dalit women, we have Dalit feminism that we need to talk about. Something like of course, Madam is also here, she's an expert on the Dalit feminism and all. And we have Sharmila Rege and different other Dalit feminists who always try to raise their issues in terms of feminism itself is a very marginalized, and they were trying to fight for the identity and various levels. So Dalit feminism looks like an irking for the mainstream movements. So it's very difficult to accommodate. But still, there is a fight going on, and it continues to historically go about it. Like we have very, a lot of studies in Hyderabad University also, student elections and all. They are talking about women's reservation. They say that what happens to the other women's reservation. So it's always irking. It's very difficult to see so many dimensions and complexities. So here, in the same way, if you talk about Dalit representation, is more comfortable than talking about Dalit women representation, and you further complicating it. So that is, it starts with Dalit feminism, and we have, like in 2002, Sundari talks about it, and there is Chaya in 1999 says Dalit feminists argue that a thoroughgoing analysis of the material basis of patriarchy requires the differential access to control over sexuality, reproduction, caste, class, communities to be thoroughly analyzed. So, in this, so it is very common to see the identities which are very much because, like I said, that enslaving the word is used. It's something like you are conditioned over a period of time watching something more and more again over the generations. What happens is that something has become more natural, and it is not visible after certain time. So here we have this becomes a common phenomena, and in these films, especially because we are all cinema as part of our social life, and it's an extension of our social well-being also here. Like, and here the film, the major themes that have emerged in all these films, 1930s to 2000. One is marriage comes the first category, which is a flashpoint of revealing the identity. Be it Malapilla or Kalam Marindi or Balipeetam, you look at the number of films. So one of the common framework is the marriage is one of the important thing, which brings the tussle of the caste, even in the real life. That is very interesting. Then the other issues are like not much on and off. There are temple entry issues which are there, and atrocities are there. I mean, burning the houses, or in rape. Rape is also a continuous presence of rape is present in the cinemas which have exactly made, especially on Dalit scenes. I'm not talking about the films which are talking about the caste in general. Otherwise, we have Veerasimha Reddy and Kadapa Reddamma, all these are there. You look at the things, if you apply the caste, every film, even RRR is also a caste. This thing, even Bahubali also, Katappa's character and all these things you look at, there's the caste is interwoven, but I'm talking about only maybe in a government terms, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in a way. So, and also not talking about the smaller references which are made, but I'm talking about the, like in Lagan there is a character Kachra. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about especially films focusing on it. So in this, marriage is one of the important social practices. And what happened in this is films like, there are two distinct marriage issues if we talk about it. One is intercaste marriage is one of the things, which Ambedkar also annihilation caste, he talks about it in elaborately. And later on, you have intra-caste marriage, I would say, within the same caste. So in this, I'm reading something different, which is also you can connect. So here, you have number of films which talks, where is a marriage is the main, whether you call it a trope or a theme. Is it that you have Malapilla, Trishulam, Saptapadi, Ananda Bhairavi, Rudraveena, Kalam Marindi. These are the year wise I'm talking about. There are 30s, 40s, 70s, 80s, the Rudraveena, Kalam Marindi, Balipitam, Rojulu Marai. So in all these films, it is one category where you will find a very interesting in intercaste and intra-caste in a way. In this, if you see Malapilla from onwards, you say in this also there is a category, if I can say. One is a Dalit girl and a Brahmin boy. This is one category. Now there is another contrary they will give you, a Dalit boy and a Brahmin girl. But there are very less films made on this. And there is why Sujata is very important that we need to study. Sujata in Hindi, Kalam Marindi in Telugu, Soban Babu and Saga. So K. Vishwanath is a co-director. In this, what is important, why it is important is that the complex identities. A girl who belongs to a so-called lower caste, adopted by a upper caste parent, taken to the city where he believes that caste is not a problem, and when she grows up, when the marriage issue comes, then the identity is revealed. Here, how complex is their identity? It's very difficult to, again, he is going back to marry an upper caste man where the entire family is very much worried and the whole tussle starts actually. Intercaste tussle will start. That's a complex situation which is kept for the audience. And but in all these approaches, there is one thing which is common, which is called the religion. In all these films, if you look at all the K. Vishwanath films, Saptapadi, Ananda Bhairavi, Kalam Marindi, even Malapilla, the message at the end of the day that audience will take back is she performs the pujas, she will try to obey, accept, and she is created in a such a way that she would like to be part of the larger Hindu fold. I don't find any problem, but the point is that again this is a contradictory to the caste inclusive these theories. What we can say how unless you come back to the same fold, it is not acceptable. It is something like you raise something which is conflict, which is progressive. Boy is there, but at the end of the day, you will have to be part of the fold. So something like Malapilla in the early days, like till 1940s, there is a whole Congress propaganda movies are there. One is Malapilla, like it, of course, similar movies are made in Tamil is the Balayogani. We have a new movie, and but very interesting movies are made in Malayalam. That in Neelakvel is also a film, and there is another controversial things that how a so-called Harijan actress where her house is burned in Tamil in Malayalam. It's a P.K. Rossi. Please read about P.K. Rossi. Jenny Rowana has done a very good work on her, and that is probably a highly read article in Dalit Women. Actually, P.K. Rossi, the first Dalit woman actress. Upon knowing that she's acting with Prem Nazir and all, and people have burned her house and she has to flee from the place. That's an iconic story. So here in Malapilla, on one side, the story is all about this reforming the society, making them good, giving the people from the downtrodden temple entry, and finally making the thing marriage. Marriage is one of the important aspect where they will try to show. But the point is that it's a kind of what I feel that the Dalit woman has no say in this. I mean to say no say. I mean to say the idea of the caste and the reforming the Congress, reforming through the Congress agenda. These both actually doesn't match with the kind of I just wanted to play small 30 minutes, 30 seconds clip. This is the end of the film. And what happens on one side, in all these films, again, across the films, the change will come. Somebody's mother is not feeling well, and the Dalit woman who goes and gave her blood, and he gets maybe they will go in this film. They go and save the houses are burnt, some fire accident, and these people from the Dalit Vadas, they go and save the people, and they change. But the change, this is the mechanism which is used in all the films. Same story, same framework. For example, Bahubali also was talking about this. If you look at Chandralekha, a film, an iconic film, Chandralekha, 1940s. It went to different countries at that point of time. It's the same template for everywhere. So here you see what Congress worker is there. He identifies the Congress worker. He says that he is going to refine and give a lot of kind of we all together. But finally, what he says is very interesting.
చాలా ఇష్ట మానవత్వానికి పరమత సహిష్ణులకు ఉన్నత దృష్టికి మన మతాన్ని మించినది జగత్తులో ఇంకొకటి లేదు.
Because the whole film is all about reform. Finally, brings back to the same that is the last thing, and also if you look at the frame, it zooms in and tries to cut the girl's parents. Only focuses on this politician and the boy's parents who have changed their heart and they are trying to emancipate the Dalit girl. So there should be temple entry at the end of the day that okay we have accepting and but you see this is in 1938. After so many years, instead of calling people to Tirupati, they started what it is something called Dalit Govindam. This is a contradictory thing. These things keep on telling that things have not changed. So we have. Like I said, that different films at the same time. At the same time, all Indian language cinema, you will find these kind of films. On one side, these reform movies. On the other side, family movies. Like you have Bruhalakshmi or It's About a Family. These kind of movies are there. So another films like K. Vishwanath, very good films. Very good camera work, music, and everything. This is a different kind of a trap, in a way, I feel. And real appreciation is there, K. Vishwanath, I have no doubt about it. But the point is that at every point of time, in the name of culture, in the name of bringing something Indian, the religion will never go. That is another problem with these films. Something like Anand Bhairavi in 1983. You have, see, in 1983, Anand Bhairavi has come, 1987, we have Sivakrishna has come. So, somehow, 80s, you find so very interesting set of films, different. on one side you have Jebutanga, you have Karana Mogudi, something like these kind of films are there. On the other side, you have films like these, straight films which are coming up actually. So these kind of films are categorized as classic. These kind of films are called as classic in the Telugu film industry, which are mostly based on classical performing arts. There is a song in Rudravena. You know what is that? There is a Bhairava Ragam. Finally, Chiranjeevi plays, and you have. What happens is that he has to, because he's living with the Dalit Vada. He is not allowed, and he reforms them. He certainly said that he reformed. He took up a job of social worker, but finally he goes back and. Of course, that is again in the name of saving his father and all this thing. That tradition is again saved by him. Is again going back. But what happens to the poor girl Shobana, the whole initiation, and like in the Malapilla, a final entry is that temple entry is chosen. That is what Kasavalli says, that this temple entry is just a kind of a fabricated thing. As a nahi, there is nothing happens in real thing like that. You know, even Andhra also people are there are many issues which are there. You see, there is a recent doctor's death is an indication. Is also there. So, but in this, so what is the similarity between the Reddy-led movies, Reddy or Kapu films, or Brahmin-led films is that it is culture, but there it is the village head. The village head who will have thousands of acres and lot of machinery, everything, he will come to the rescue and provide. But you don't find positive films that somebody has made some achievement, they are heroes, and these kind of films are very rare. But now, somebody has written in the Quint, I will show you that. The Quint is that maybe the times have changed a bit. You will find Silent is the beginning. Silent, and you have Fandry, you have films like Masan in Hindi. In Telugu, you have the recent films which are Palasa, which are direct movies with the more remote stories which are coming up. Telugu cinema started speaking Telangana. Telugu cinema started speaking Sivakrishna accent. So that is something which is good thing happening. That's what the Quint article says, and I also add some points. So here you have there are films like Devalayam. Devalayam is also a tricky film. Devalayam is a girl. Father is from an upper caste father who abandons her, and mother is from Dalit community, Vijay Shanti and Soban Babu. So that's identities. Let me say that. So it's very interesting to see that how her image is reduced, and in all these films, whether it's a boy play girl or boy in these two dichotomies, every girl, every Dalit, either a boy or girl, they aspire to get married. There is a very interesting film came, same which is actually the film Devalayam, or even the film Erramandaram. Erramandaram is a different film. It is neither a kind of a Madal Rangarao or the so-called red films. It is not that film. It's a different film. It came in a different time. For me, the more bold woman, Dalit woman is projected in is that Roju Marai. The girl is very, very, her character is much stronger than anybody. And but in Erramandaram, so she is strong and taken certain decisions. But in all these films, marriage is the ultimate aim of the girl, and the entire film is bringing them to Hindi fold is another main project. If you look at, just I'll show you a small clip here. You see, in this is a kind of what she says that ఈ దిక్కులేని నా జీవితానికి సూర్యోదయం, టుడే is the new dawn for this art form, that she says. And the another line of the song goes, కాలి కింద గరిక పువ్వు ఆలయానికి చేరున. With this grass flower, whether can it reach to, will it reach to the God's feet? So that kind of this is that I'm ready to get married, I'm ready to be oppressed. These kind of you see the stories. You see the kind of picturization. Sorry. Snippet that try to bring even the lyrics. This is very sometimes very demeaning. Of course, this is not related to this paper. This lyrics have become, I think, on lyrics also. Paidipala, they have written a very good book. Of course, lyrics I don't want to mention is that this popular songs. Says that, of course, I will not say. So it's very quite difficult for me to say. So it's in every film. What's that? The director's progressive phase will go away by the end of the story. Finally, the Gauri has to die. Is that we have a popular analogy of all over India. In Telugu, is that there are two heroines, one from the jungle, one from the city. And finally, who will die is a very, again, to fit into the system of this one marriage, one wife, that kind of thing. So, like, of course, Rudraveena is, which I've slightly talked about it. But the point is that it's a very strong film. He won National Award for the Swayam Krushi. Next year, he won another National Award for Rudraveena. So both in Swayam Krushi, he is a cobbler. In Rudraveena, he is a Brahmin boy. Very interesting to read. When these films have come in a series, and like Kasarali sir has already said that a lot of these efforts looks like very progressive, but they are trying to reinforce the same existing oppression. So here, a girl who is dancing somewhere on the hill, and where you can see at a distance, he asks, That is another lustrous thing that they wanted to visit the temple or play. But finally, when the film ends, a character is actually used for making Chiranjeevi as more illustrious person, more reformist than you have any other thing. I mean, there's no acknowledgement of her efforts, and you have, of course, if you look at Chiranjeevi's number of films, after that, again, Apar Bandhavadu has come. OBC character, you see. But the point is that he realized that to get an award, you need to make a film like this. It's consistently have come. You see the second film of Rudravena, it is Jebudonga. So, very interesting combination if you look at his filmography. And further, then these red films, or maybe the films which have some kind of point where we have social justice is the main theme. Social justice and respecting all the labor and giving them equal right to space. But the point is that somebody like, you see, M.S.S. Pandian, one of his very, very, very popular work, The Image Trap, very, very small, 100 pages, is that what he says that how the constructed real life is shown as a real life. For example, though this constructed reality, a sense of attachment is created into viewer's mind, making the viewer surrender to the artist's performance in the movie. Likewise, characters belonging to subaltern are created who emerge winners at the end of the movie, subverting the injustice meted out to them. For example, marriage, finally you get the marriage and the injustice is over. So finally let them give the entry to the temple, that is over. The point is that the issue is beyond that. Like again, it's a fabricated or unrealistic things, and the films suggest. And but one appreciation is that, see, 1970s, Habib Tanvir, a playwright, who made a very interesting play when times are very, very complicated. He made a play called Ponga Pandit, 1979, Ponga Pandit. It became very controversial. He made it, and he brought a new insights into caste system in Chhattisgarh and in Lucknow and these places. So likewise, these are all good efforts. I'm not saying that, but the point is that these efforts are at the end of the day, maybe films are all. These are all films which run well in this thing, and finally they have to, maybe the filmmakers, and we have Jaidev is here, how they have actually compromised certain the core ideas of annihilation of caste or in egalitarian society. That is what is missing. And of course, something like Balipeetam is a different movie which is made from the famous story novel, and we have the other movies where very strong sequences, references are made in Trishulam. Trishulam is a very interesting movie compared to maybe many other films. Trishulam is a very interesting movie. There is a small scene. He says that, why did you give him water in the glass? Like you see in that, what is Ramcharan's movie? Rangasthalam. So Rangasthalam is an old story. It is remade here. It's an old story. Rangasthalam story, O Manishi Tiruchudu, and there is one more movie, Chandramohan movie. The same movie is remade anyway. So this is that in the same way that there is an incident of caste references. So the girl offered him water in the glass. So he said that the father throws away the glass We don't need it. Then he kisses the girl and he said, would you like to throw this girl also? So very strong references are there in film like uh, Trishulam. And we have, of course, I mean, this is where I'm going. The boy is a Dalit and girl is a non-Dalit. These stories are very less movies are made, and but still the tussle continues. Same with the side art. You see, side art. Side art is also the tussle also emerges at some point of time, and even Masan is also in Hindi if you look at it. So. Uh, like in Swine Lucy, she's very submissive and all, and finally she goes for a vasectomy and she don't want to have kids and everything, sacrifice. All these things, we also study same thing, subjugating, objectified, all these things in general gender studies. I mean, not gender means specifically women characters when we study. But when it comes to the Dalit women, it's a doubly oppressed. The doubly oppressed, something like and Era Mandaram is one film where you will find very interesting story. A Dalit made a panchayat sarpanch. What happens? So, because international cinema scholars look for anything, any film that has a reference of the politics and elections. They're very they write about it actually. Not only that point of view, the film is very interestingly made, and but in this you have there also her sole aim. Yamuna is there in Rajendra Prasad. Sole aim is to get married to that husband, and she also spreads the rumors about her virginity and all these things. So, but what is important in this film is that the entire film is made in the Dalit community setup. You will find some kind of a Dalit aesthetics. So, which I can say, is there a Dalit aesthetics? We don't have to look at how do we actually see, how do you celebrate certain things, how do you perform certain things. These things are there. So, see, these things are also references. They, for example, in Devalayam, he leaves the house of his father's house and goes to Dalitwada, and they play Dafli, and then the song starts. So Dalit reference has certain aesthetics. That is also there that one need to understand, which I didn't do in my thesis. So, of course, when it comes to Ramulamma, when somebody, they're all women who want to get married. This woman is broken the marriage because of the in-house fight, and finally she needs to take revenge. For that, she needs to join a party, and ultimately she rose to the cadre to lead the organization. But in this Mahila Margam, at that point of time, Mahila Margam magazine, they came up with a very elaborate article and all. Where is Ramulamma? There is no Ramulamma as such. There is no Dalit woman as such. You don't find. You will find maybe a leader from the Naxal is there, but not as such. That is what their quotation is, the point is. So, of course, the rape is one of the sustained themes which they show it. Somehow it circulates as a kind of taken for granted, naturalizing the thing. Of course, they show it very, in line with the context. But what I'm talking about, something like you see films like Gose Ramulamma, Gangama Jatra, Lal Salam, Yarra Mandaram, Yarra Sainyam, Samakka Sarama, Swarnakka, Trishulam, Das. A lot of these things you see the rape as kind of rape analogy. There is one MPhil scholar, long back, Sunita, I think. She studied on rape itself. How Telugu cinema portrays rape. A very, very interesting study that is there in Hyderabad University. That is interesting to see. Even sorry, sitting here, I'm telling that even we need to encourage students to study the horror films, all the horror films, rape is a main theme. You understand? The rape of a woman, you rape the woman, you make the devil. And Ramsay brothers and all, if you see, they are very fierce, this thing, devils. Now you see, the current Gitanjali and all, the friendly ghost who makes fun and brings something, but still the rape analogy continues. The rape itself is a very serious thing that need to be studied, and it's still continuing, not just only in Delhi. So I will show one small clip, then I will conclude it. Yeah. Is it a Dalit cinema? I asked Tom Benegal used to be our board of member. So I asked him, sir, you made number of films on themes. Then can we have a Dalit cinema? Is there something? He said, yes, if somebody makes it, there is. Now for me, you see, this is the article which I am mentioning. Ambedkar was ignored by Indian cinema for years. That is changing now. So Harish Vankte from JNU has written an elaborate account of how this post 2000, the number of films which are coming up. Same in Hindi, they suddenly realized after this, a lot of these movements have come, social movements, CA movements, some other movements, and different groups. They started realizing that there is something called we need to get together, or maybe finding a place like Hindu, Muslim, or maybe different identity groups are coming together. That is where they find it reference, and maybe, in fact, you see, international funding also for the book projects and all these things. The caste is selling now. The caste is on rise. So the number of movies, you will experience more number of films. Routledge has bought a very big volume on caste in Indian cinema just 6 months back, and so this pan is not one scene. It is in OTT also. In OTT web series also, there is a cricket story which Amazon, I forgot the name. There, how a Dalit boy plays. Which one? Inside Edge. It's a very interesting, very simple thing that the mainstream movie could not cover that. So there are stories which are also in OTT also that is coming up. Like I said that, and you will find a lot of these burning houses, destroying occupation, banning temple entry. These are all common themes which have been there and continuously going. Like Aunanna Kadanna, there's a movie and some film, and there is one movie where they cut. These are all films cut the tongue. These are all movies made recently. I mean to say recently, 10 years back, 5 years back. So that is there. And you have finally the Dalit women in Telugu cinema is still limited and often perpetuates harmful stereotypes. Okay, there are no positive stories and no heroic stories, and there is a need for more diverse portrayal of Dalit women in mainstream media to promote greater understanding. Because see, one Dasi film comes, we talk about in film circles, unless it releases and makes it bigger way, like a color photo has come. Same story, see that the boy has to die at the end. That is the story. See, we have to look at where are these stories. I'm recalling there is a series of 4 volumes of stories, Dalita Kadal. If you remember, the wonderful stories which are written long back, and now when I see new films which are coming, there are themes which are already written. And you see Kalipur Prasad, when I see color photo, Kalipur Prasad wrote a Kramageta once, one, I not remember the exact name, a wonderful poetry written about Dalit boy and upper caste woman, how they tied him and beat him, and every beat he remembers her. So the story very interesting. That repeats in
Sri Ramalaya.
And even this color photo also. Of course, his other poems are also very powerful. You see, but we don't see such kind of a hard reality, because in films we have to make it more sometimes they were uh, kneeling down to the popular notion, popular perception of the society, so that their films will go. I mean, entire film, some 1 hour 90 minutes they will show one thing. The last 10 minutes they will say that okay, somebody just kill that girl, or maybe she will say that no, I am sacrificing, please go with him, or something like that. These kind of things are there just to satisfy the larger social order. So I took a lot of time. I'm really sorry to